My name is Chlo, and this is the Feed or Flow podcast, where you'll find authentic conversations on how to get your period back and restore your metabolism from years of disordered eating, low-calorie diets, and excessive exercise regimes. No trendy diets of celery juice and broccoli sprouts will be found here. Rather, my mission is to teach you balance and how the foods you've most likely cut out of your diet are the very ones that are essential for health. It's time we stop fearing food and embrace all that it can do for us. Food freedom, vivacious health, and a monthly menstrual cycle is possible, and I'm going to show you how to achieve this type of wellness without obsession.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is like, I think kind of stepping back and reframing and looking at things from a root cause perspective is really helpful, because I think, we get so caught up in, maybe it's this thing that's causing my symptoms, or this thing, or, do I have this problem or that problem, or it's this food or that food, when really, like, we need to take a bigger picture look and a bigger picture approach to like, wait a minute, like, why do I even have these symptoms in the first place?
Honestly, I just want to have you repeat that, because that is something that I think everyone on this podcast needs to hear.
I don't even remember what I said.
So basically, you're saying, like, instead of just blaming a certain food and being like, oh,
Yeah,
like, say gluten or carbs or something is like
right.
really hurting my stomach, it's like taking that macroscopic view and looking at, okay, but why is my body unable to digest the dairy or
Yes.
the bread or whatever it may be, and understanding that that's the root cause there. And if we heal that, then oftentimes those imbalances or those intolerances will go away.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's much more of like we tend to ask the question of like, what can I do to fix something? Like, what do I need to eat or not eat, or restrict, or like, what do I need to cut out, whatever, instead of stepping back and looking at like, why, why do I have these symptoms in the first place? Why is my period missing? Why am I so tired all the time? Like, there's an organic root cause, and we have to, I think, understand that kind of like almost like biochemistry approach to it, of kind of healing your metabolism to really get your body back into function again.
That really helped me sort of just understanding exactly that, the metabolism and how it functions and works. And I did kind of, to get me out of this, I took a very sort of scientific approach to like, okay, I can clearly see that like eating very little is never going to lead to health. And can I have you maybe just expand on that topic a little bit? Because I know you mention things like that on your Instagram all the time. Like, this is why eating 1,200 calories is not going to like heal you of all your hormonal imbalances. Do you mind diving into like why that number isn't going to be something that's supportive for females?
Right. Yeah. So if you kind of look at it in context, and I've seen this floating around on social media a little bit too, but if you look at it in context, 1,200 calories is about the needs of a toddler. And we are not only full grown women, but we're working and we're thinking and we're moving all the time and we're exercising. And we've got all of these other expenditures and these things that we have to account for. Like, we're under a lot of stress, and stress will deplete your body of nutrients. And so, so we really need to be operating, far more than 1,200 calories just to be functioning on a day-to-day basis. And, kind of the repercussions of that are, under eating can certainly lead to a kind of lowered metabolism, but it will also like slow down your thyroid function. Slowing down thyroid function will impact your hormones. And so it's really important to make sure that you're sustaining your body at what it actually needs to thrive, which is far more.
Yeah, and even I don't like numbers personally, and I don't know your stance on that, but
Yeah, I don't like them either.
okay, thank you. Like, I hate this idea of like looking at the number of something. Like, I'm thinking about even my lunch that I just had right before the show, and I was just, I had a huge block of manchego that I got from Costco. Like, it's like a whole like $24 block of manchego, and I
So
literally am
good.
just like cutting slice after slice after slice, and I have a bunch of raw honey, and I'm dipping it in there, and I have a bunch of fruit, and I had some toast and butter, and I had, a carrot salad. I had some oysters. I had like a bunch of different random stuff. And the idea of me looking at all of that and associating it with a number just like makes no sense to my head. It did back in my eating disorder day,
Hmm.
but now it like totally doesn't. And I think that even this number that we usually get for like a healthy number is like 2,000 calories a day or
Hmm.
2,500. And we hear that a lot. And I even want to challenge that because I swear I look at what I eat and I'm like, there's no way this is just 2,500 calories. But yet I'm
Right.
listening to my body. I have a good metabolism. I feel strong, healthy, all of that. So I think a lot of us, we do get really caught up in these numbers and it's
Mhm.
just not serving our health at all. I don't know. Did you ever, calorie count yourself?
Oh yeah, so I have a long history. I have a long history with that. But I actually, and I kind of wanted to touch on something that you said too, is, not really being driven by numbers. And I will often see, being numbers driven, especially, calories or macro counting, which is what I did. I will often see that provoke just like so much stress and anxiety, and so it can be really helpful just for your mental health to like kind of work on stepping away from that, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. um but yeah, I definitely have a long history with calorie counting, with macro counting. um Several years ago, this was probably 7-8 years ago now, I actually worked with a nutritionist, with a coach who basically put me on a 1,300 calorie diet, like high protein, low carb. And I was weighing, on a food scale, like weighing spinach and lettuce and like, things that are just like negligible. Like it was that
It's like
obsessive.
ridiculous to
Yeah.
weigh
Yeah.
and measure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really unfortunate. I have a couple people who I work with who are diagnosed with like anorexia and they
Yeah.
come to work with me and they're working with dietitians at the same time. They're like, "Well, my dietitian has me on this meal plan. I got to eat exactly like, this many grams of oats, this many." And I'm just like, "Whoa, like I get it. I'm not saying don't listen to your dietitian, but I personally just see that as like, so we're still having you still be in control
Mhm.
and you're not really healing your relationship with food and the understanding of food is good for you. It's still kind of the scarcity mindset of it, of like,
Yeah.
but I can only have 150 grams of this. I can only have 5 ounces of that. Instead of just having like more of an abundant mindset and understanding that food is here to support our health and not to deplete it like diet culture kind of promotes in its
Yeah.
various, messages that it sends us. But I want to dive into this because I don't talk about this too much because I kind of just went the route of eat as little as possible and I didn't get obsessed with like actually counting things.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear like your experience of how you got out of that and how you started making that transition to seeing food in a different way.
Yeah, it was honestly years of work. And so it started where I was just counting calories, and like I had gotten involved in bodybuilding in the fitness industry, and was kind of going after that aesthetic, wanting to compete someday kind of thing. And so I initially started with counting calories and it wasn't getting me where I wanted to go. So I hired a coach to do my macros for me, and bought a food scale, and I weighed food for probably close to 5 years, and I was terrified to go like off plan. Like I was worried that like one little move off plan was just going to like completely, destroy all of my progress. um so I was afraid to eat out. I was afraid to eat with friends and family. I was afraid to go to family reunions, like potlucks and things like
Which
that.
I'm going to pause you for 1 second.
Yeah.
First off, I just want to say that like if one bite of extra food threw off your progress, then it's like so clear that you are under eating and that you're not at your body's
Yeah.
like desired weight, right? Like we should
Oh,
be able to eat
absolutely.
an abundance of food and a variety of like amounts every single day and not really gain
Yes.
weight. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's such a good point because like you're doing different things throughout the day, and like your body has different needs every single day. You have different needs depending on where you're at in your menstrual cycle too. Um, so I will say, like, to get me out of that cycle, first and foremost was therapy. I did attend counseling for a couple of years, and I felt like that was really beneficial for me to kind of see food in a different light. Um, but I really just kind of say enough is enough. Like, I deserve better than this.
Thanks for listening to this short clip from the Feed or Flow podcast. To listen to the rest of the show, head on over to your favorite podcast app like iTunes or Spotify. If your period has gone MIA, you're going to want to get her back. She's important for your health and misses you dearly. I've created a juicy online course designed to teach you everything I wish I knew about getting my period back, restoring my metabolism, and cultivating a healthy, nourishing relationship with food. The Get Your Flow On course is designed to empower and inspire you to achieve full recovery. Head on over to www.flowwithchlo.com to sign up.